Alright, here we are, update 17. Got out as fast as I can. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of info in this video. I put the skips just below each title head. So if you don't feel like seeing a section, you can skip it. I've done this as fast as I can and as informative as I can. I didn't cover everything, I've covered all the important bits, what I believe to be important anyway. Okay, first section. Parkour 2.0. With Parkour 2.0, it kind of changes how the game behaves itself. I'll show my run into the tutorial level here. And you can get an idea what it's like. You can do tutorial level yourself, or if you skip it, that's entirely up to you. Okay. As this was my first and only run, it wasn't too hard to do. The double jump, pretty much self-explanatory, just hit X mid-air. Very helpful. I like that one a lot. The bullet jump, at first you might think it's slower than coptering, but it's actually faster once you get the hang of it. Now for the gliding is alright. I find it useful with certain weapons, not so much other semi-automatic weapons. But it's still a good asset regardless. The old shooting in mid-air functions weren't that great. I also noticed, strangely enough, they gave me a Mach 1 Bratton and a Mach 1 Ferris. Not sure why, and they let me keep my knife. Weird. Anyway, the wall dash. It's kind of like Mega Man X. You just jump up a wall. Fucking love that. Now, similar to how some Ninja Gaiden games work, we kind of like leap on a wall. A little funny-like, but still behaves the same way we always do, except there's no stamina this time. Now, wall latch. Similar to how the old games of Shinobi work, you can just hold onto a wall. A little awkward at first, but easy enough once you get the hang of it. From here, you can, for a few seconds, you can aim and shoot at enemies with the safety of up high, and they probably can't even see you at first. The bullet jump. Now, I had a few troubles, but apparently it's to crouch and to jump up in the midair. Very, very high jump. Better than most melee jumps. Now, with the wall dash here, you can pretty much tell it's infinite. As long as you keep going forward, you'll never run, you'll never stop. Fortunately, I couldn't cheat my way out through that. It's pretty easy. You just gotta time your jumps right, and transition between walls, and keep holding the X button, or whatever button you use to jump. Pretty simple parkour system. Now for zipline, it's a little funny, but now I'm a bug in a wire. Thumbs up if you remember that game. Nothing really to say here. You can jump from wire to wire. And Parkour 2.0 is covered. It's easy to use, but tough to master. Okay, next up. Shotgun buffs. Now, a lot of people don't like shotguns. Well, that's fine. I like shotguns. I use them a lot. But maybe people don't like them because they were initially not a very good weapon. And most of them weren't. They were very short range, they lacked the damage, and they didn't really, spread was too heavy. Now let's look at the differences here. With the Bore Prime, everyone knows the automatic shotgun. The Impact 76, that's pretty much what's important, and it does have a critical build. After the buff, it's 126 impact. That's quite a jump. It's very good too. The magazine size is also increased, which is also nice. Now the Dragoon's a weird one. No one really likes this one because of how it behaves. So they had to give it a massive buff. I'm not sure if it will perform any better. It will perform any better, but it increases slash to 720. It's a huge buff. Huge. I didn't get to use it after. Well, I will use it soon and find out for myself. But the Hex Shotgun with the right mods is already a monster. So when they went and just buffed this weapon, it just took a creature and then made it to Godzilla-sized proportions. Because they went to 341 puncture. That's astounding. That thing's murderous. You can kill anything in the game with this. The Sobek is more like the choice of many people with shotguns, because it's automatic and it's really controllable. And it goes from 90 impact to the upgraded version of 265. But yes, it maintains everything else. Just a nice damage buff. Very large. Alright, moving on, we got the plain Strun, the beginner shotgun. I didn't bother doing the Mach 1. The Mach 1, everyone goes for the plain version and they're going for the Strun. Now Plain Strun's pretty easy to use. Very quick reload compared to other shotguns, and the damage increase is almost doubled. They almost took it and almost doubled it in every category. Didn't touch the critical or ball status. And for the Wraith, almost the same story. With the Wraith, they just took it and doubled everything. All the damage. Whew. Trying to keep this all consistent. So yes, the shotguns have a very nice buff to it. I like all of them. Now, for my personal favorite, Tigris, the D2. This thing received the biggest buff of it all. They took 160 slash, and they fucking... Look at this, 840. That's astounding. I could do 16,000 slash with this gun, and I'm not even done upgrading it. Anyway, about the buffs on the Prime Warframes. A couple of the Primes got a buff. I'm not going to mention all of it here. I'm going to just look at the pictures because I'm a little scatterbrains at the moment. But we'll continue going forward. Okay, first up, we got the Frost here. The Frost has gotten the largest shields in the game now, starting with 175 shields. And its armor has also been increased from the original Frost. The original Frost remains the same, but the Prime version gets the buff, not the original version. Same can be said about the Rhino. The Rhino's armor has been also upgraded. Where the original Rhino had 190 armor, this one has 275. Nice to actually have a Rhino that can go a bit farther than the plain version. Okay, next up we got a Mag, I think. Yep, Mag here has all upgrade to his shields. You go from 125 to 150. A very small buff, but hey, every little bit helps. Some people love using Mag. This will take them even farther, which is nice. Alright, next section. The Tal Igor fight. Tal Igor is not a very hard boss. He's more on the side of it being a little annoying. But no, I don't find him a very big threat. In fact, I find some of the small enemies he throws at you a bigger threat than he actually is. So when you reach the chamber, Tal Igor behaves much like a Manic. He'll attack you and then just promptly disappear when you do a bit of damage to him. Now you must cause enough damage to him to end the first stage. And then he'll say he's going to pull the ocean down on top of you. In this stage, you cannot really harm him. Just let him do his animation. When the water falls, then he'll send out his little groups of Manics after you. You take out the little groups of Manics, and he'll reappear to fight you. As before, just cause some damage to him until he pops up on the second high platform where I'm currently stationed. Now when I jump down here to fight him, okay, he's not very hard. My Hex Shotgun putting out 15,000 puncture just goes right through him. Okay, he pops up there, as I said. Now, from here, he's going to tear down more water, and you want to get out of that water quick. Because if you land in like I did, like my first fight here, I'm going to be electrocuted in this water. Exactly, and I start taking damage. Then you must go to one of the nearby platforms that will allow you to get out of the water. And now, he'll send more Manics, including his Bombard Manics after you. Bombard Manics can be quite painful. Don't let their grenades hit you. And when you kill all of them, he comes again for the final fight. No different to any of his strategy. He fights the same way all three stages. Just finish him off, collect your reward, and head on to extraction. Pretty simple guy. Okay, next section. The Frost and Lex Prime buffs. Now, I've already gone over the Frost's just a stats buff, but he also has ability buffs. This goes for both regular and Prime. As well, but a little bit of a mention on the Lex Prime buff. Alright. Okay, for Lex Prime, the damage had increased from 85 overall to 150. A nice jump there, almost double. And critical and status has been increased from 20% to 25%. You can see with only going to level 30 and no Forma, no Catalyst, I could put this almost to 2,000 puncture. Very good. Okay, for Frost's new first move, while freezing, as before, freezes enemy solids. However though, if you cast it on the floor, it will stay on the floor, slowing down all nearby enemies that are step on it, making them rather helpless. Alright, second ability, Ice Wave, is similar as it used to be, but it's much larger now. And it freezes nearby enemies if it doesn't kill them. Frost Bubble is almost the same, however, the Frost Bubble no longer has a timer. it's up for life. It's up for good until it's destroyed by enemies. You can cast up to 4 of them. This final ability, Avalanche, you can pretty much kill... It's not only more powerful, but it freezes nearby enemies as well. Very helpful. Also, a passive ability. If enemies strike frost, they have roughly a 10 to 15% chance of being frozen solid. As for the Lex Prime, it's still just as accurate as ever. It's still the same accuracy as a long-range weapon. But as I mentioned earlier, the part about being frozen, as I let this guy wail on me, and you see there, he froze right solid. I didn't have to do anything. Okay, next. General mode game changes. This means like sabotage, defense, mobile defense. I'll have some slide pictures and I'll explain what's been changed. Alright, 10 minutes in. Let's go. First change, mobile defense. You got more defense locations, and you always have 2 to 3 consoles. This includes the Void, most other places too. You got the underwater tile sets even. Those have multiple locations, which are new. Even old locations like Earth has, again, more places to defend. Then you got Capture. Capture not only has one target, but on a very long path, and he can cause lockdown if he gets ahead of you into a room. For defense, weak enemies will attack first, followed by the stronger units. So now in the Void, you won't have the MOAs come rushing at you. They'll come out towards the later end of that wave. And now there'll be more enemies in early waves than later waves. So for every 5 waves, you have pretty much more of them in the beginning than at the end, to make the defense go by quicker. Okay, for the Earth Sabotage, if you do play it, there are 2 objectives now. The first one, you must remove the Toxic Catalyst. When you accomplish that, then you do the Toxic Injector, which is a mobile defense in every sense of the word. This really doesn't change too much on the game. For the mobile defense, the 2 and 3 consoles, they always have roughly 2 minutes now. It's never 4 minutes. For the Capture, as long as you move quick, nothing has changed. Just move quick, don't let that guy get away from you. You won't cause a lockdown. For defense, it might be a good, because then now defense will progress much quicker now, where Tower 4 defense is maybe a 30 to 40 minute cycle of you standing there fucking taking down enemies. It was took a long process, and this may shorten the time. As for Earth Sabotage, for those who play it, I don't see it as being any benefit or addition to the game. Just makes the mission make more sense, I guess. Is it really needed? Not really, but whatever. Changes little. Alright, next section, the Chroma changes and additions. Yeah, if you don't like dogs, that's fine. Other people do. I don't like dogs, but I'm going to cover it anyway. And we have a separate addition section. So the Chroma additions and the addition section are different. Okay, we have the new Chiza bulk breed here. It's similar to the Carrier. It's going to disarm enemies. Well, the Carrier doesn't do that, but this Chroma will. Disarm enemies, and it'll bring you the loot, similar to the Carrier does. I don't have one yet to test its efficiency, but it will have the same behavior. Okay, and you have roughly a 20% chance on a random incubation. Alright, the Chroma incubator is now available. This is available in the Tenno Lab. You can research it with if you're in a clan, that is. When you acquire it and equip it on your incubator, the stasis recovery will be reduced to 30 minutes. That's when you take a dog out of the frozen process. And if you don't want to wait around, you can rush the stasis recovery using credits now instead of plat, because no one really wanted to rush their dogs. Okay, and also hopefully it will automatically put your dog into the stasis if it's mortally ill. Let's say if you have been gone for a few days and you forgot to put in stasis, and now it's on the verge of death, the game will put it in the stasis for you so your dog won't die. Okay, for egg incubation, when you get an egg, it will reduce to a day, which is nice. That reduces a lot of the wait time. And best of all, the DNA stavers last twice as long. That's one of the reasons why I don't like using the dogs. It's because they just kept getting sick on me. Like, I put so much money and effort into it. This is nice. Maybe they'll eventually improve the dog's AI and it'll be more usable. They can compete with the Sentinels in terms of damage and functionality. I still know the dogs are more powerful in terms of defense. They can take more bullets. But their intelligence and their functionality is doesn't measure up to the Sentinels. But this is a good buff along that way, a good help. But yes, this is all available in your dojo, in the town lab. The prices vary depending on what size of clan you have. Alright. Next section. We got the additions. Additions are things added to the game overall. Whether it be weapons, capes, which I'll cover, etc. It's all very nice stuff. Some of these things can only be acquired with plat, but I'll add it in here anyway. Okay. Going up first is the capes, more or less. The capes are very nice looking. They each cost 100 plat, roughly. Now, I'm not even going to try to pronounce these names, these capes. You can look at the name and cross-reference yourself. I'm not going to butcher these names. I cannot pronounce that. And if someone tries to pronounce it, everyone's going to say it differently. But the one I use here is very nice, very silky. Very nice. Next, the other one here, again, I'm not going to pronounce these dumb names. You can never just choose something simple. Very silky looking, very Dracula-like, if I had to characterize it. Very, flows very gently with the wind. In fact, I'm just standing still and the thing's wobbling. And then you have this one, the Vanquished. This one's easy to pronounce. But this one's weird. But some people like weird. This one's just a poorly tattered Grineer flag stitched together. Poorly. Now, some people like using this. I saw on the PC. That's their opinion. I probably won't be using this one, but oh well. Got it anyway. Whereabouts, still though, it's cape and it's nice nonetheless. Okay, moving on. Now, all weapons will have an invisibility toggle switch. So when you go to appearance in your weapons, you can now toggle if you see them if they're not equipped, if you don't have it currently equipped. So you put it on your back, it's going to disappear. You put them on the side of your legs, it's going to disappear. You put your weapon on your back or about the lower thigh area, it's going to disappear. Alright, and then we have the arcane distillers. If you have an enhancement on your helmet or scarf and you changed your mind, you can now get these through your syndicate for 100,000 standing points. These can remove your arcane effect. We keep it after that. I believe it's lost after it's removed. I may be wrong. I didn't quite verify that. Oh yes, any syndicate can offer these. All of them have it. Next, the rare resources are green. Green drops, which is very distinctive now. They have the same shape as the yellow drops, but now they're green and they have a green orb or beam shooting up from them. Similar to how gold mods do. Very helpful to easily point it out to people now. And in trading, you can now trade up to 5 different items now. So that way you want to trade a Paris Prime, selling or buying, you can now do it in one session. Or do just more items in general. Which is nice. Because you only have so many trades during the day, and people who are not very high in rank are restricted to only a few handful of trades. So that helps them out a lot, especially when getting items like the Paris Prime, or even other mods and weapons. So overall, very, very nice additions. These are all helpful. And a nice cosmetic one with invisibility of your weapons. Alright. Next section. We got the Exilis Mod Slot. I believe I pronounced that right. The Exilis Mod Slot isn't something entirely new to the game. Didn't quite see this one coming either. But nonetheless, it is helpful. Now, for the mods, I only covered all the old mods. The ones that can be converted. Now, the top section of your Warframe is that empty spot you more likely have at the moment, is your Exilis slot. It's going to be locked. You must do the quest in order to get the blueprint for it. But this is pretty much a utility slot. Below, you can see all the mods that have all the old mods of existing in the game before this has been converted into this slot. They all have the same effect, but now they have an icon above them showing that they are now for this slot. So, having Retribution, Sure-Footed, or Handspring, Shock Absorbers, these are all very helpful mods, but they always took up valuable space. Now they don't. It's all nice having a one extra slot. And now I gotta put a 5th form on my Excalibur just to fit one on. Had this thing built, too. Damn it. 5th Forma. That's crazy. Okay, but yes, you can polarize these slots as well. So don't worry, they're not blank forever. Only blank in the beginning. Okay, and you could buy them from the marketplace, those things, or when you do the quest, the new quest anyway, you can go to Cephalon Samaris' store here. And at the bottom, you'll have the blueprint adapter right there. Unfortunately, I need to capture a few more targets before I can get mine. That's fine, though. Okay. Next section. Conclave changes and additions. This one's going to be a bit of a mouthful. There was a lot of changes for Conclave. Not really changes of game modes, but a lot of character, gun changes. But yes, the changes in Conclave are not tied to the changes up ahead for the next section. I put this one separately because it's so much of Conclave, I gave it its own section. But yes, there's going to be a lot of weapons, some weapons buffed, some weapons debuffed, to about more character abilities, etc. I didn't list everything, I list all the important stuff. There's a lot to cover. And so I listed everything that is relevant to everyone's interest. There's more changed, but I covered everything important. If I did everything, this video would be 3 videos long and 40 minutes. Okay, first up. The daily challenges will now get you standing, which they vary from what they may be. Maybe it's kills, maybe it's wins X amount of matches for a day. Now it'll get you standing. Okay, next up, you got 3 new maps and a lot of mods. So it's nice having new maps. Even better having mods. Next, we have Saren and Zephyr are now playable, which is nice. Saren, we'll see how she's balanced. I didn't quite use her yet. But Zephyr is going to be real fun one to use. You're going to be just bouncing everywhere and flying all over the place. Okay, and now match time is reduced to 10 minutes instead of 15. This is good. 15 minutes was a bit long. Most competition didn't want to stick it out that long. We started winning too much. And 10 minutes might well be the golden area. Okay, other than that, the credits have been added to the end match rewards, which is nice. That's additional, not just credits alone. You get credits with it. And if you get defeated when you're holding energy, you at least keep 25 of that energy on respawn. That is amazing. And the Vectis has been buffed and debuffed. The headshot's been buffed overall, but then they lowered the overall damage. So that shooting someone in the body will not do too much damage, but hitting him in the head should be an instant kill. That is pretty much the idea of a sniper rifle in general. So I don't have any complaints about that. Anyway, there's more about buffs and weapons. Alright, next. The weapons added to PvP. We have the Burston, the Opticore, the Miter, the Hind, the Grinlock, the Marlock, the Twin Gremlins, the Tiburon, the Tetera, the Buzzlock, the Attica, the Vasto, the Seer, the Suptra, the Galantine, the Magister, the Sindo, the Jet Kajang, and all weapon variants of these listed weapons. I'm sorry if I butchered any of those names, but it's just how no one goes around pronouncing these weapons. The developers don't really mention too often. Okay, the Burston, that's a good beginner weapon. That's nice it's added here. The Opticore, it's probably going to be a one-hit kill if you're hit by it, but that charge up time is probably murder. The Miter is going to cause crazy bleed damage. The Hind might be the wild card of the list. It's always a strange weapon, not many people use it. The Grinlock's lever action rifle, I personally love that. It'll be a nice addition. The Marlock is one of the most powerful pistols in the game. We'll see how it does. Twin Gremlins are going to be an odd choice for their rate of fire, and the Tiburon is an upgraded version of Latron with a 3-shot burst. The Tetera, I can't see that being too helpful. As for the Buzzlock, if you get hit by that auto-locking tracker bullet, you're done for. You're dead. The Attica might be pretty good. And for the Vasto, it'll be a nice secondary, because there's not enough good secondaries yet. And the Seer, well, I got nothing to say about that. The Suptra did get a buff this update, so maybe it'd be nice. The Galantine, people love big swords. The Magister can club people. The Sindo, same thing as the Galantine. And the Jakajing, well, that's a weird weapon, but it has nice combos. So if you get hit by it, it might just kill your opponent. We'll see how these work out. I have no damage values for these yet. I can only do so many things at once. That'll be up for another video. Okay, for the PvP weapon buffs, weapons that already existed in the game. We got the Sicarus, the Cyberus, the Viper, the Latlo, excuse me, the Lado, the Atomos, the Magnus, the Latron, the Dara, the Bow, the Karak, and the Strun. Sicarus, well, I don't think that's a really popular choice for anyone, but maybe his buff will change that. To Cyberus, when I tried it initially, it seemed promising, but I lacked the firepower. That may have changed everything. Viper and Lado, I don't think anyone will still care. The Atomos, some people like that. Magnus, I personally use Magnus in the PvP, which is nice. Latron, that's good. The Dara is a good choice. The Bow was also a good choice. And the Crack and the Strun, they're beginner weapons, but maybe they'll show up better in PvP. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But hey, it's buffs, and you can't really complain about buffs. Exactly, less people using Bolter Prime the better. Now, changes. There aren't too many changes than you think. The changes are relatively small, and the changes to stamina are not included in this section. That is going to be in the next section. This will be just plain changes not related to stamina or chroma. Alright. As for the list of changes, we got Ash's Bladestorm is now affected by Steel Charge Aura mod. That could be yours or your friends. Either way, it gets more powerful. The Suptra now has many buffs. Its ammo capacity overall is increased to 1080. The clip size is increased to 180. The reload speed is increased to 3 seconds. Damage is buffed from 35 overall to 45, which is nice. The weapon was lacking and it needed a buff, maybe even a bit more in my opinion, but we'll see about that. Since Tal Rigor now drops the Equinox, the Ash parts are now dropped by Manix, the plain Manix, not the ones around Tal Rigor. In addition to overall enemies, they also drop credits in piles. 200 credits, 200 credits, 300 credit piles. Now, something new to the game, remote observers are added for temporary camera angles. Stick around to the end of the video if you wish to see how that works, or an example of that. And for infested crawlers, they no longer spawn after level 40 to make way for more powerful units. So that applies to defense and survival. And also interception on your airs and such. And also, Grineer turrets have been added to various game modes. I'm not sure if they're on every tile set, but I know they're on the Grineer Colony ship tile set. For damage, I didn't really get to measure the damage too much. They're somewhere between average to powerful. So pretty nice, but you are stationary when using them. And enemies can still wail on you from behind, so you must be careful using them. For the camera observers, you can find them in the marketplace under gear for 10 credits each. They roughly last between, I believe it was they last around 8 seconds, I think. 8 to 5 seconds. Just for a temporary camera angle. Okay, next. We got the Chroma and Stamina changes, the last section. Now, with Parkour 2.0, has removed Stamina bar altogether. With this, things have changed. You have infinite sprinting, infinite thrusters for your bark wings. But mods affecting stamina are now gone altogether. And other things have changed, which we'll go over right now. But first off, we'll start with Chroma. Well, Chroma, you can now change when you change the green energy, which used to affect stamina, it now affects your guns. So the buff now gives your holster and loading speed. So for very heavy guns, like say the Suptra, or the Gorgon, etc., Ogress, now you can have that buffed and increase reloading speed. I didn't measure it yet, so maybe it's by seconds, maybe it's by percentage. I'm not sure which one. Now for overall stamina. Okay, for stamina mods that used to affect stamina, all of them are converted into fusion cores. So if there was a silver ball mod that affected fusion or the stamina, it's now turned to a silver fusion core, etc. And the old arcane helmets that used to affect stamina have now been changed. Most of them affect the new parkour system, some of them affect something else. They both have plus and debuffs, but that's all different ones. Remember, these are for the old arcane helmets, not the new stuff you put on. Alright, and that just about covers it all. Man, that was a long video. Quite something, longest video I made to date. Anyway, all I have to say is, thanks for watching.